hello. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care how established I get. If I ever have kids, I'm going to teach them the importance of hard work and dedication and devotion. Because no tea, no shade, it really pisses me off to witness my family being themselves. Because they're so fucking lazy. You know what I mean? What are you doing? And then the fact that they tried to come at me at some point for my work ethic, as if there was anything to even critique. Anyways, hello. I don't know when you'll tune into this, but at the time of recording, it's the 2nd of March. By the time you see this, it'll likely be late June. So, hello, time traveler, how's it going? I had to take a walk because being around those people for too long makes me start feeling really angry, starts making me feel hateful, and I don't like that, so I had to take a walk. There are a lot of sick individuals in this world, and unfortunately those sick people tend to be the most prominent, the most powerful, the most successful, and it's tiring. Truly. I'm not saying that anybody needs to be dethroned or anybody needs to be taken out, but I do think that we should be more critical of the people that we place on these pedestals, these people that we place into these positions of power. It will never make sense to me how we as a collective allowed Donald Trump to be president. The idea that a felon can't vote but somehow they could become president doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's ridiculous what they do to maintain a sense of power, and the crazy thing is, if you have to do all that to be powerful, you're not powerful at all. You know what I mean? If you have to force people to be on your side, if you have to force people, if you have to confuse people, bitch, who are you? I think one thing a lot of people get too caught up on is why other people do what they do. One thing that a lot of people come to me with is curiosity about people's bad intentions or whatever. And I don't know, if you're curious, sure, but I think it's a waste of energy to kind of focus on why people do what they do. I mean, once you figure it out, then you know what I mean? It just kind of, everything else makes sense. When you understand that people do stupid shit because they're insecure, because they hate themselves, then everything else makes sense. And then you don't need to necessarily ask why about certain things, because then oh yeah, it's because of insecurity, it's because of X, Y, and Z. And the next question after you've asked why a million times is what can I do to move forward from the situation? What can I do to make the situation better? You know what I mean? We're always focused on, and I say we, but you, we're always focused on other people's actions and things that we can't control, and it's that's a waste, because you can't control that, so why are you focused on it? You know what I mean? Once again, if you're curious, that's fine, but hyper focusing on why or why not somebody did or did not do something, no, because then I could focus on why you keep focusing on that, but I know that it's just because you're not aware of how important your focus and attention is. You're not aware that you are indirectly keeping this thing that you don't want alive, but that's just my opinion, I guess. One thing I was talking about on live stream, also there was a huge pause in between the last take and this take, but the one thing I was talking about on live stream recently was the idea of monkey brain, and the idea of no matter how spiritual you get, no matter how in alignment you get, at the end of the day, you and I, you watching this video, we're still in human bodies. We still are relatively limited by these flesh and bones. And so that's a thing. Because when we talk about psychology and we talk about the nervous system sets us up for everything. And once again, if you're spiritually bypassing, then you'll not really understand or recognize that it's important to look at the nervous system and to pay attention to the nervous system in different ways. Because it doesn't matter how many meditations you've been on, it doesn't matter how many times you fasted, if your nervous system is dysregulated, very likely you will be more inclined to make less smart decisions. And sure, maybe if you're a hyper genius, maybe you'll bounce back really fast, but like, we all have the capacity to fuck up. We all have the capacity to do harm, you know? And I think a lot of us try to spiritually bypass. We try to bypass in general certain things because we don't want to necessarily face them, but it's like, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Because like, and the way that I've learned this is because of my own humanity and because of being around people who like trigger me to like have habits that aren't necessarily my most ideal, i.e. smoking, you know? Like, I recognize 100% it's not a healthy habit, and I recognize that I have other tools, but I also recognize that it's the fastest. And oh, and that's so funny. There was some weed on the ground. That's so funny. But yeah, I think this is going to be a shorter video, so I don't know, watch this back if you need to. Hope you remember that God loves you. Whatever you're going through is temporary. Miracles happen all the time if you truly believe and align yourself. What the fuck? And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. I hope you know everything is temporary. And you should keep your head up, keep your spirits high. Bye.